become celibates?
Well, we share different reasons. Mostly just single kumanya. It's the spiritual reason where people choose. Nagamba, for my spiritual reasons, I'm going to choose to be a celibate because they want to focus on their prayer life, their spiritual life, and some of them desire peace. I don't know why they think that Overo you know mwagara, you lose your peace.
But anyway, diving deep into today being Labor Day, different men and women have put in effort to ensure that the nation moves forward. 2010 and 2025, there has been a whole lot different developments.
Yeah.
Now we can say that we have Northern Bypass. You know, we hope to have the Southern Bypass. We have seen our GDP grow as a country, more exports, more collaborations. We have seen different projects coming to support women. We have seen justice prevail in the area of sexual harassment at workplaces, you know, and also we have seen that work is moving from physical to more remote, jobs. And of course, we are talking about informal and formal jobs where people have worked. Some people do on contracts, others on hand-to-mouth payment. But today, hand-to-mouth, yes. Olingas afuna izo kuwanga afuna maybe mtwale ebiri, and then they have to cut that money off na waye nkome etano musako nasigazako gomu kitundu etano wato, and then they are able to balance. But I would like us to kick-start off with the Uganda Labour Law, the Employment Act of 2006. There is something that we need to uncover right in there, Stuart. How do you want to kick it off?
Now, the Labour Law or the Labour Act of 2006, first of all, actually, it's the law that governs all everything in the workspace, in the workplace, and in labour. And it stipulates different things, and it's the one we're still writing on up to now. And one of the sections in this law is the employment contracts. Now, in the employment contracts, the Labour Law states that all employment lasting more than 6 months must have a written contract outlining duties, hours, wages, and conditions. Yes, and conditions. So, and it also goes on to say that casual employment is defined as short-term work, not more than 24 hours at a time. Okay? And not more than 24 hours at a time. So, and it also says a probation period can last up to 6 months and be extended to 12 months by agreement. Omanyi these our workplaces or jogenda nebagamba nti ogenda kubeera ku probation nebagamba ogenda kubeera ku probation okumala omwaka mulamba nosooka n'okolako emyezi 6 nebagamba we are not yet so sure. We are not yet so sure. Kati tugenda okola katwongereyo emyezi 6 ejja probation. Remember oli mukola. And remember during bobanga okola probation or take all your effort. Why? Because obeera at risk of being retained or not. So kakati some people abalala ne bamala okukozesa ku probation after delivering ne bakugoba. Now Labour Law egamba bw'oteeka omukozi ku probation oba ng'omukozi bakuteeka ku probation okwongezayo probation eno beyond 6 months is on agreement. Okitegeera?
Yes.
It's supposed to be on agreement. Yes.
Wow, that's right.
But
informative.
That same act talks about the working hours and the overtime. Where it says that standard work hours are 8 per day and 48 per week.
8 per day, 48 per week.
Meaning woteka sanga biri over satu, but they should only be 8 hours per day. Then Nyaganti, every employee is entitled to a 30 minutes break after working hours continuously. So I would regard it as that the lunch break, because when it comes to some jobs, actually they don't respect lunch.
True.
Kubanga boba bagamba we want this to be done, and especially if it's the job that ngayebawa lunch, they may not respect the lunch hours.
bagiteeka ku ssaawa 10.
And their work has to be delivered. And any work, any hours that are worked beyond the time limit, which now that we count it as overtime, you should be paid for it.
Wow.
Which we don't. We see very few companies exercise that. Very few. Yeah, how many employees ever come out to say, "Instead overtime"? Nah.
You know, Stuart, this week you're mentioning a friend who is who's teaching 8 courses.
Yeah.
Eight
Yesterday.
course
8 course units.
units.
Yes.
And this lady is on probation. Now on probation, she's teaching 8
Course units. Meaning she's not allowed to go and work anywhere else.
Yes, 8 course units, and on top of that, nebamwongerako making sure that she sets exams, she makes sure they are all printed, there are no typos. Byonna biri ku ye. Omuntu alina okukola omulimu guno yavuddewo.
And they pay them little.
And the pay is little, and they are even on probation. Okitegeera. Like I kept on listening, and I'm like, she's overworking.
And I believe,
does she know?
I believe
Does she know
people.
her
Yes, she knows, but she told me, Stuart, I'm on probation.
I believe people that are usually manipulated and taken advantage of, especially people who are just out of school. There is so much desperation. You have to survive. You're hustling at the end of the day. But when we unfold the leave entitlements within this Employment Act of 2006, very many people did not know their rights.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
the employer wakes up one morning and tells you, you are fired. And yet you actually signed a contract. And then, of course, we're going to be looking more in that. But when it comes to the leave entitlements that everyone has to have, regarding the annual leave, every single person in Uganda is entitled to 21 working days. You know, me one time someone asked me, how many days? I said a full month, but of course the weekends are not counted. And this caters for both gentlemen and male. And moving on to the maternity leave, you know, birthing the younger generation to come, female employees are entitled to 60 working days. And then there's also what we call the paternity leave, which is not usually mentioned. Guess how many? It is actually 4 working days.
4 working days.
Of paid leave.
Teziri fair.
It is very fair. Anyway.
Taata taweebwa chance kubeera na mukyala we, and you know.
Me don't find it fair, because look at partners where the lady's home is up country. She can't go back after giving birth. So it's the same man who is supposed to take care of his wife.
Until they will expect you to get probably a relative who will help out, or ofune omuntu. You know, there are those people now who take care of mothers, ababeera bakazaale, even akawere. Very expensive. And kati wakulese kusuubira nti you'll do that.
Well, just closing in, there's also the sick leave. You know, there are also those employees who have chronic illnesses, cancer, you know, they have to treat this. Maybe they got an accident. They're entitled to 30 working days paid leave. But after those 30 days, after that, maybe the company may choose to pay you or not pay you. Yeah.
Now, also, there is something that olumu ebiseera ebisinga kyetumisinga out on, but also because abakozi abasinga e Uganda emirimu egisinga signing a contract, bakuwa omulimu but you don't sign a contract. Abantu abasinga, by the way, there are no contracts. Era ojja ne bagamba kale tutandike enkya nga towandiise anywhere.
Yes.
But mu kawairo akalala kali mu tteeka lino, ke kawairo akakwata ku kugobebwa oba termination of employment. Kakati etteeka lino ligamba nti notice period depend on length of service and ranging from 2 weeks to 3 months. Nti bw'obanga ogenda kugoba omukozi, oba gwe omukozi baba nga bagenda kugoba oba nga bagenda kuterminatinga your employment, terminating a contract, bayina okukubuulira wakati wa weeks 2 oba emyezi paka ku myezi 3 before era okugobebwa kuno kulina okuba nga kuli fair era nga kusinziira ku nsonga ez'essimba ezikakasibwa. Otherwise it's considered unlawful okugoba omukozi nga toyina nsonga ntuufu nti omukozi oyo oba tufaananira bubi like nti yanyezeza boss.
Yes.
Oba mukyala wa boss takwatagana naye mukyala wa boss tamwagalawo. You get you know there are people who have been omuntu abadde at this workplace ye breadwinner ne munango olwokuba tafaananidde bulungi mukyala wa boss omukyala najja n'agamba
mukyala boss mwagalawo abeera ali lubuto okugenda bwa
you know for example ladies for example ladies newabeerawo omukyala ono probably akola in close proximity with the boss n'atuuka nga n'afuuka threat eri omukyala wa boss n'agamba ze nno munnange oyo muwala simwagalawo agenda kutwonoonera amaka simwagalawo yabeera naawe yakukolera kyayi buli lunaku gw'ogenda naye ku trips agenda twonoonera amaka. Now it has happened in a number of workplaces and it still happens. Now it's considered unlawful. Kaakati ekirina okubeerawo etteeka lino ligamba nti waba walina okubaawo ssente ezisasulwa omukozi singa contract ye ebeera terminated era singa abeera agobeddwa. Severance pay is owed to the employees dismissed after at least 6 months of continuous service. Bw'obanga obadde oweereza mu kifo kino okumala emyezi 6
Yes.
n'okugenda mu maaso balina okukuwa ssente kw'olina okutandikira nga bakugobye balina okusasula.
Yes.
Bw'obanga obadde ku contract olina okusasulwa. Of course it's calculated through negotiation and based on the internal policy of the company.
Well, in that same act, there is protection from discrimination and harassment. When it talks about discrimination, it says that it's prohibited on the basis of gender, religion, race, tribe, political opinion, or social status. It is not allowed. Employers with 25 or more workers must have written a sexual harassment policy.
A sexual harassment policy.
And equal pay for equal work is encouraged to reduce the gender pay gap. Bagamba omusajja ye bamuwe sente bweziti omukyala tebamuweezo yet they have done the same job. It is not allowed.
Oyo mukazi sente agenda zikozesa ki?
Omusajja ye agenda kulabirira family. My dear, it is not allowed. Era obeera obadde okikola, it is wrong. It is very, very wrong. But also that part where it says that as long as you have 25 people in your company, a sexual harassment policy should be written. Do you know that in UN, there are things they do not allow? I'll tell you. You tell a lady, oh, you're beautiful, and you are supposed to apologize.
There you tell them you're
That
beautiful.
is verbal harassment.
Hey, you're smart.
What are you
What
insinuating?
intentions? You stay together. So there are people who jokes and I've gone them. You and I want to tell you that you're very smart. But in case I've offended you, I'm sorry. Because they are very, very serious, by the way, when it comes to that part of sexual harassment. They are very serious. And when we're doing an opportunity, at least that thing you should have it in your head. Otherwise, you could lose your job in the next few hours. So you watch what you say. That means just to kwata kumuntu, sichechoka sexual harassment. Even what you say matters.
Era on that particular one, mikwano gyaffe nga you are a bit touchy.
A touchy person is a touchy person.
You communicate your love over your love language is too touching. No preferring olumu munange tomala gakwata.
You know, in new workplaces, wabeerawo abo bagayi abagala nnyo okusala ku lwa new babies. And after the first 2 weeks, you will never see them anywhere. Anyway,
They're welcoming you in the place.
Baba gala
Okay.
kulaba.
You know, there
They'll
was
even
a-
ask, are you married? Do you have someone? Are you dating? You'll see them all around you for the first
There was a
weeks.
meme that was moving around when a new employee, when a new babe he comes in office, all the guys like they're all around.
But I think that's something that we've grown up seeing, even in school. When you've joined a new school, you see how those guys, if it's high school, or Jakulaba or senior 5, if you're in like senior 3, senior 2, that way they approach you, double cheat,
By the way,
they
then,
care.
I used to be that kind.
I was
Anyway.
a victim.
We do have also the occupational safety and health. In there, tulabi abantu bambi abakola. For example, abantu abakola mu factory and are not given protective equipment and gears. So this particular act says that as an employee, you should not allow to work in an environment that is very hazardous to your health. Kati, there are some industries that don't offer masks. You know, there are some industries that don't offer protective gears. You know, you're working in a fumigation company. You're not given gloves to mix those chemicals. You're not given gumboots, you know, to make sure that you are safe at the end of the day. And these are the illnesses that people actually are now treating in their older age. So the Act continues to say that be very mindful of your health, that at least employers must make sure that their employees work in safe environments.
Hey guys, obadde okimanyi nti omwana ali wansi w'emyaka 16 takkirizibwa
18 ndowooza
16 kukola.
Shogamba 17, are you okay?
Aba organizations kye bayita child labor.
Child labor. Emyaka 16 omwana takkirizibwa kukola. Naye owe 14 etteeka ligamba nti akkirizibwa okukola naye ng'ali under supervision.
Oh, 14.
14. And if the kind of work they are doing is hazardous, nga mulimu okukola n'ebyuma okukola n'ebintu ebisobola okuaffectinga obulamu bwe, takkirizibwa kukola, alina okuba nga ali supervised.
Stuart, tulabye abantu, people who have lost their arms, their eyes in industries, and the company at the end of the day does not compensate them.
But I think there are things that can be compensated and those that can't be. I know of a place. They had horses. Horse lumunenyiga
Nesamba omukozi.
nedda nemulumako okutu.
Really?
Amazima.
That was...
Nemulumako okutu. So there's some things that can be compensated.
Oh my God, what was in that horse's mind? Because...
Anything can happen.
Anything
can happen. So some things can be compensated, some cannot. Kati omuntu nga baba babimyeko okutu, the best they can do is to treat the remaining part of the ear ewone.
So kakati mukwano bwe abadde akozesa omwana mu bintu ebinterferinga n'okusoma kwe nga biyingira mu class time ow'emyaka 14 paka 17. Bw'abanga alina emyaka 14 kyekiri kye babadde ayagala kularisa ina Angel nti omwana ono bw'abanga kuva ku myaka 14 paka 17 emirimu gyakkirizibwa okukola girina okuba nga kiri light ng'ate tegirina risk gye gigenda kupozinga eri obulamu bwe okugeza okukola nga mu factories okukola mu kasasiro okukola mu bintu ebyo ebisobola okuaffectinga obulamu bw'omwana ono tokkirizibwa kumukozesa mirimu gino. Bw'obanga omwana atandise okukola olina kumuwa mirimu nga giri light nga myangu ate nga tegisobola kuaffectinga bulamu bwe ate nga tegiyingira mu budde bwe obw'okusoma.
Let me ask you, Bogambe, omwana bwatyo, are you talking about when it comes to company work? Because the children, the as housemaids.
As housemaids.
Yes.
As long
and
as,
that is not
a place. As long as emirimu egyo gyakola as housemate tegigenda kuaffectinga bulamu bwe nga giri lightweight. Bw'abanga asoma nga tegiyingira in their class.
Ate abeera tasoma.
Bw'aba tasoma, of course that is a different case now. naye bw'abanga abadde asoma emirimu egyo tegirina kuyingira mu kusoma
In situations when there is conflict at workplace, nga gundi takusasudde emyezi 4 takusasulanga,
Employer.
oba maybe a staff
ate
has
abantu baluma e
sexually-
Uganda wano
maybe a staff, yes.
omuntu nokolera omuntu something oba n'omuwa sente n'atazikuddiza tukiyita kuluma nti gundi yannumye
Owetegereza okulaba nti if that staff maybe has sexually harassed you, oba muina conflicts and tensions around, you are actually allowed to go to the court and make sure you receive justice. Nenga mu Employment Act 2006 tuvuddeyo. Friends, nga tuzze ku the different sectors etulina: agriculture, construction, technology is here. We are seeing more jobs transition at the end of the day. In there are informal and formal jobs. What has been your dissatisfaction regarding the lack of a minimum wage?
Now, with the lack of a minimum wage, you end up doing so much, more so work that threatens your life, and you end up being paid little.
Yes, that's true. Susie, what's your take?
I actually agree with that, but then let me look at the life insurance.
The life insurance.
Yeah, I realized that very many companies, they don't provide life insurance.
Yeah.
They don't they don't look at it until now. On top of being paid little, there is no life insurance. Okay, I feel like actually the working conditions are really bad.
Kasuzi, life insurance is just one of them. We also have allowances.
Anti-Katwelaba, you get little pay because you don't have a minimum wage. Little pay, no insurance, especially when it comes to medical. No insurance, no allowances for lunch. For instance, I'm traveling for 300,000 shillings at the end of the month.
Which is even not paid
On
in
time.
the bank on time. Not even, it's not going through NSSF.
No, it's not. Kati, kwekuli your lunch job at Doria every day. Your home, the money that you're supposed to use, the home expenditure, kwekuli everything.
Yes, and literally you're just working for the
And
company.
you're supposed to report at work on time. So again, I know surely the people are not satisfied, the employees are not satisfied, yet you are demanding quality work. I'll tell you, such a person, unless if they're faithful to their work, they may never give you the quality of work that you desire. Because they're not happy, they're not satisfied. Oyagala aje. And now because it's little money, it already has where to go. China, we encourage people to have a saving culture. But what are they going to save if it's from hand to mouth?
And how can we beat the poverty line, especially in that state?
I really want to believe that there should be a framework that necessitates that people who work more so in hazardous places, abantu abakola mu factories, bannange abaana baluzinga obulamu bwabwe, abaana bava mu factories nga balwadde. Imagine omuntu akola mu cement, much as there is face mask, but sometimes those things don't suffice. Okitegeera, these people are babera exposed to health risks every single day. They have to turn up and work. And at the end of the day, the much they can give them is 200. You get. Omwana n'abeera abaana bakola mu sugar factories. They lose their hands. Abasinga, you see them there boyita mu bitundu nga Lugazi. In the morning you see them walking to work. And agenze kukolera 2,000, agenze kukolera 3,000, 4,000, and like obulamu bwabwe buli exposed to all these chemicals, and at the end of the day they are given 3,000, 4,000, and that is paid after 2 weeks. You can imagine. You get, like, there must be a minimum wage in this country. If the government really cares about people, about the citizens of the nation, waberewo at least a minimum wage. Naye people end up, and you know, it's because of the desperation. Omuntu nga talina option but to work in this place. Nenga obusente bwakolerera taso ayina landlord amulinza ayina okusasula rent.
Ne mukyalo.
Tuition you get.
Olava Stewart. Actually, that's very sad. Recently, there is a picture that was shared one time of, for instance, let me give you an example of people who do mines or people who dig. Abasime kubo, the easiest when it comes to road construction. Ababana abate kama amani, batema trenches, awanaita trenches or pipes. Nebatulaga ekifanancha, like maybe the CEO, the manager, the big guys, yeah. Then nebalaga the one doing the hard work, and it's the same person who takes more money. Yeah, so you wonder why is it that the person who puts in more work is the one who takes the least amount of money? They usually tell us they take it back to education.
Value
Education. I find it really quite unfair when it comes to that kind of work.
What a Ministry of Labour, what a framework, at least. Okumanya nti abantu bano abakola emirimu egy'amaanyi baba what they deserve, what at least something. Naye you look at people nga bakola ebintu n'obusente bwe bafuna and you're like, okay.
You know that there is also toxic employee behavior. The employee are toxic. Those employees who cannot accommodate new employees.
Yes.
Beba communicating bad energy.
They have clicks.
They were for years. And they find it bad when others come in the community to join the company. For you are that kind of employee. Toyagala bapya, gwayagala okutwala all the credit. You're being toxic.
Very true.
And those are that's why we tell you, that's why there is this notion that you don't have a friend at your workplace. But they're actually good people. They communicate bad energy. And they carry that vice from one company to another.
I even don't know how it's called. Like they are the masterminds of the work politics, the central governing board.
They tell you the moment you get there, you have to make that one your friend.
Like such people, in most cases, it's at the core of them, it's insecurity.
Yes.
But why would you be insecure if you can do your work well?
Auntie, oh no,
who is close to the boss?
You might take their space. Ayagala demarcating their space. So when wojanga, you look like nebobanga tolinenga, you look like you could be a future threat based on your talent, your abilities, your skills. Sometimes you're just favored, sometimes because you deliver on time and you deliver well. Kakati nagambo no nga anakta agenda tukinako tweta go kumusalira magezi. It's literally insecurity. And please wolengo okole ebintu ebyo stop.
Well, friends, away from what unfolds and goes in workplaces, in just the remaining few minutes, I would like us to dive or switch gears into the celebrations and the men and women that have been pertinent to the development of this country. Because Uganda is a country, I mean, we are blessed with food. In the agriculture sector, we are having exports, we are having imports. I mean, we are known for being the highest producing food of matoke, you know. And at the end of the day, also we are ranked for being the highest people in, let me not mention, is in Vostegede, you know. But we realize that food comes from the north, the east, the west, the southern part of the country, and also feeding people that are abroad this country. What would be your biggest credibility that you'd give to men and women that have built this country? Farmers. Because one day I asked myself a question. If all farmers in Uganda had decided, so we are not sending, you'd see how we would starve.
Especially the Kampala people.
Especially us, the Kampala people. What would be your shouts out in any sector of your preference?
Well, maybe if I even go there, I would want to give my credit to KCCA.
KCCA.
Yeah, recently, that was in 2024, on 7th March. Now posted something, an article about them, telling us that it has gone forward in grappling with the task of addressing every kind of long-lasting issue that is disturbing casual laborers within the city. And in case of anything, they are there to help you.
Yes.
And they are trying their best for the laborers to help them. But anyway, also to appreciate the farmers.
Well, allow me just read these shout outs. You are also free to share your shout outs. Someone says, Happy Labor Day to everyone at Promise TV.
Happy Labor
First
Day.
receive it.
Thank
First receive
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the show. They didn't put the name. Actually, they said the dignity of labor depends on what you do, but how you do it. That is Edwin. That's a quote, I think, by Edwin Osgood Grover. The dignity of labor depends not on what you do, but how you do it. Then they gave us a scripture that is 1 Corinthians 15:58 that says, Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Happy Labor Day, Christ Heart. Happy Labor Day, Promise TV staff. That is Dr. Kalema. Thank you so much for that wonderful
I really,
message.
to me, I think my highlight for this Labor Day, it's going to be a man called Dr. Chapman.
Dr. Chapman Chigozi.
Dr. Chapman Chigozi. He was a dentist who arrived in Uganda in the 70s. Yes, he came in the 70s, and in 1980, with the help of Bishop of Bugembe, the support of Bishop Bugembe, Dr. Chapman Chigozi set up, I think it must have been the first dental clinic in Uganda, in Mengo Hospital. And he has been in Uganda serving as a dentist for 45 years.
And you know, he's just an iceberg of many people that have solidly given themselves to build this country and improve the services, you know. And I believe out of Dr. Chigozi, you'll find that there have been thousands of dentists that have been trained and are more confident in that field.
And by the way, when it comes to dentists, we credit you, but you people, just to remind our dear viewers, you should have a dental visit every after 6 months. You know, times have changed. What we feed on has changed. One thing you should know is that what you eat will impact a lot on your teeth. Before you know it, if you don't exercise that habit of going to your dentist, my dear, this teeth is costly to maintain, you guys. Bakusokola after so many years. Before you know it, you either lose all your teeth or you start now, so that by the time they approach it, you don't have too much to spend.
And every time you lose a teeth, as you grow older, you're not able to pronounce certain words. We say something and say something.
Your face looks different. It affects the smile. Can you imagine?
Now, you guys, we want to actually give flowers to all the medical engineers. Nzetera kubaita ba engineer kubanga by abazimbi baffe, because they literally do.
They build you, man.
They are building.
Your dental.
We want to give you flowers. Thank you for the work you do. And Dr. Chapman Chigozi came from America,
and he became
yes, he's an American doctor.
And
who got
yes, he came here nafuna erinya Chigozi era yeddira fumbe.
Actually, so I can see the way you're saying that with happiness.
Yeah, it's a kakati mikwano omwami ono yawumudde. Yes, Dr. Chigozi.
No, he retired.
He retired.
Humula also means different.
Yes. Naye okuwumula is retirement. Yawumudde after 45 years of service to Ugandans in Mengo Hospital, that dental clinic in Mengo Hospital. And you can imagine they started with just 2 dental beds.
Wow.
And in 2005, by 2005, the clinic had become a state of, yes, that's him.
But he resembles Dr. Ian Clark. A little bit.
And by 2005, Mengo Dental Clinic had become a state-of-the-art, a state-of-the-art dental clinic. But also, we want to say thank you to all people in the medical fraternity. You guys do a lot. Our nurses, our doctors, abachala abatuzaza abaana mweba abazalisa abachala banange mwebale nnyo.
Even mothers.
Nnyo ne bamama.
Giving birth is also
mulimo. Ne katika twika katsoke tuwebaze ababayamba okutuukiriza obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe banange midwives. If you are a midwife nga you're watching us, thank you so much.
I also want to send shout outs to policemen, PDF, people that bring security to the country, the surveillance cameras that we see on the road that capture our number plates.
But Jane, sorry, Angel.
I see you're missing, G.
Policemen mostly.
The policemen at the front line.
These are the most hated people in our community. Choka, they do so much.
Yes.
The first place you want to run to is police. Bambi, much as of course wabawe bitagenda bulungi olumu, but our dear people, our dear affandes, people in the police, we want to celebrate you. Thank you so much for the work you do. Of course, namwe abalina emirimu egitali mirungi mukola mwebale, mukola kyamaanyi naye mukyusemu.
Next word, there are people in the medical field that I would want to appreciate, and I hardly hear people talk about them. These are the orthopedic doctors.
Orthopedic,
But go under the dentist?
No.
An orthopedic doctor ye muntu agenda okukola kugumba. And I'll tell you, some operations take 8 hours. Nga ali kugumba lyo nga ayimiridde. These are people that we hardly appreciate, maybe because you've not had any issue with them, but they're there to help you to walk in case like maybe they try as much as they can to make sure you can walk again. Never call anesthesia. You people, you get into, there is no serious operation that you go for and you don't get anesthesia, because they will make you sleep more like actually your life is in their hands.
Actually, abantu abo abakola anesthesia, they do so much work.
Yes.
Bano bebantu waberawo emergencies ebintu ng'obubenje baleesa omuntu mu ambulance agudde kabenje omubiri gwonna tegugira, bano be bantu abatuukirwako ne basooka ne bakunaaza like they prepare you for
the surgery
assistance. Bano abantu
they expose so much blood. Only there when you're inside the theater, akube yempiso, especially now when it comes to a mother who is going to take a C in the spine, and they are very careful to make sure that even after that operation you can still sit. That's like they have to make sure that injection is administered well.
They literally, by the way,
there is a liquid that should not bleed, that should not leak, sorry, because if it leaks you may have a headache your whole life. But they are very, very careful. And you might shout out to Dr. Chintu. He used to head that department in Uganda.
Anesthesia.
Yes, he works in Nakasero Hospital, and they are very calm. So he has to make sure he's calm so that your life is retained.
And another person, Wananga, I want us to highlight is our very own Dr. Charles Rwanga, who has been on the show. Dr. Charles Rwanga has done a very good job in Luwero.
Medical field.
Something I needed to highlight, and I'm sorry. By the way, you need to know there is a hospital in Entebbe, which is a free children's hospital. It's called Entebbe Children's Surgical Hospital, and it's owned by an NGO called Emergency, which offers free child health care. So bobango ina omwana aina
the swellings,
amagumba omwana aliko obulemu, they do operations and all these surgical
minor operations.
Zona, even major, as long as it's a child. As long as it's a child, they do it, and it's free.
Oh, wow. I am happy that at least we're having institutions that can come and support and realize they're disadvantaged people at the end of the day. But this is my line of shout-outs. IT guys abakola ku internet to make sure internet is flowing at workplaces.
Mu banks.
Mu banks, whatever fraternity you're in, shout out to those IT guys for stabilizing internet.
Tebebaka, tebawumula.
Okitegera?
Tebaba na off.
Journalists and broadcasters, guys.
Journalists. You guys
Vincent.
on the line.
Joy.
Kabuye.
Lawyers. Big shout outs to you guys. Accountants, ababala sente zaffe.
Oh yeah, we love you guys.
Mwebale. But online freelancers, namwe mbalamuseza. DJs and event decorators, tailors, domestic workers, maids, housemaids.
Yeah.
Street vendors, nosanga bambi mama nga atunde chibbo ky'amatooke at the end of the day agala kujamu sente. But waiters, but shopkeepers, the chefs, njagala kumaliriza ne bano wamanga.
N'ababoda batumire.
Boda riders,
appreciate
our taxi drivers, our truck drivers, airline ground staff, ne cabin crew, delivery, abatuletera ebintu nga tuli in our places of convenience and riding. Thank you so much. In the construction, of course, the electrician, the welders, the engineers. We can't finish the list, but wherever you are, fetwagala kugamba happy Labor Day. Webala okubanga ozimba eggwanga Uganda, okubanga ali moving forward. Yes, Stuart, you had something.
Abannange twagala okubebaza mwenna buli muntu actually ng'olina ky'otuusaako engalo mu lunaku lwammwe era tuba recognizinga tubebaza abantu abatuyamba ennyo abasomesa
teachers
tutera okubeera birolo mu tetutera nakubaagala era gwe mu mirimu abaana abafuluma amasomero gye bataagala kulowooza nakukola naye mutukola bulungi nnyo mwebale nnyo omulimu gwe mukola abalala baba babayita okulya ennoni and all those things, but thank you so much for the work you're doing. The list is so big, but
the list is big, but Esther nabo to big shout out.
Webale nnyo ate yongeramu amaanyi kubanga gy'okuma okubanga okola you're going to get further.
Me, I don't want to forget our dear mothers. We appreciate you. You nurture your children. You nurture the nation, especially the house mothers. Bambi, not only the house mothers, even working mothers. We put in a lot. Mothers, you're appreciated. Happy Labor Day, darling lady.
Abalangira okusembayo okusiima.
Batata.
Abakulembeze baffe mu kukkiriza.
Yes.
The religious leaders.
Ba reverends, ba fathers, name it all.
Also our people in power, we appreciate you.
Abantu bano ababeera mu kukkiriza ensonga lwaki njagala okubasiima kubanga bawaayo obulamu bwabwe naddala abasumba to be hated, to be misquoted, and all the controversies that come with leading people. Thank you so much.
So one of the things I've never desired is to be a spokesperson. Kubanga spokesperson oyina not twisting. Nolabanga you're calling a cat a dog and yet it's not a dog.
Angel, do you remember that time when we had Mr. Enanga? He's one of the best spokespeople I've ever seen, and we take you to be hated because most of the times abantu tebajja receiving the way you're communicating, but spokesperson.
And special shout outs to him.
Yes.
And also, do you know that the people we are forgetting? Child-headed families. Those firstborns who have given them Susie, let's see the way you do
firstborn. We have one and we celebrate you.
Thank you, my dad. This
What day?
You're my dear manager. Thank you for being the fixer. And it got me emotional. Yes, we love you, firstborns.
Well, I want to call it and draw it right here. You know, people have to enjoy the Labor Day, but of course tomorrow will be a working day for many people.
Absolutely.
And
like
so, make sure you make the best of the day. You may want to sleep or to get enough rest, do that, but make sure you also do something meaningful at home. Call your family members. And you've never called them.
And
it's 2 weeks since.
Make sure you add value. value on yourself and on someone today.
Yes, from us to you, want to say thank you for being a great audience. Thank you for the messages you have sent in. Catch you tomorrow, same time on Promise TV Sunrise. We want to say happy Labor Day. From us to you, we say bye-bye. Coming up is the kindergarten. See you.
Welcome to the Sunrise Show. My name is Angel Walker.